So we now know that Mike McCarthy is going to be running the show on offense, him calling the plays, he's put his staff in place, and now we're starting to get a little bit more nuggets of information of how he wants to run things. Now, he had a whole bunch of things to say in his whole press conference at the Combine, which we're going to try and break down bit by bit, because there was a lot that he did say. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight into Mike McCarthy's press conference about what we should see with this offense in 2023. Now, before we begin today's video, if you guys could do me a favor and hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're new and hit the notification bell as well. Over 87% of you guys watching are not subscribed, so if you keep coming back for more Dallas Cowboys content, why don't you just subscribe so you stick around for more? Now, with all that, we know Mike McCarthy is setting up his offense the way he wants to do it, but now we're starting to hear what the specifics are on that. So I had to go through my notes on what exactly he said because there was a lot. I was shocked we got this much out of Mike McCarthy. So let's go ahead. Let's go over some of the provisional things that he said, and then we'll further discuss what we should take away from this. Now, to start things off, one of the biggest things is when he spoke to the media was that the terminology is going to stay the same. And that is a massive thing to start off on. Now, some people will say that it means nothing. Others will say it means a lot. For me, it kind of tells me the foundation of where Mike McCarthy's trying to build this thing. He's like, listen, I'm trying to build this thing around Dak Prescott, which is another thing he said. So I'm going to keep the terminology the same. I'm going to call the plays. And at the end of the day, we need to just tweak with what we're doing. So that's the first thing. He said that the terminology is staying the same. Now, Michael Gehlken also said that Mike McCarthy was invigorated with switching to him being the offensive play caller, and also said that this is the most fun he's been since being in Dallas. So there's that. Then he said a couple of other things. The first thing was the two major points for the Dallas Cowboys and what they need to work on in 2023. He said the following: your quarterback has to be able to throw the ball 45 times in a game and win. Can't win a championship in this league if your guy can't have that capabilities of doing that, I believe. But having them do that every week, it's fun. It's fun as hell to call those plays, but that's not the best thing for your team. Time of possession goes to hell. Risk of turnover goes up. We got to secure the ball better. We need to be a top 5 team in the league, and that's a skill. And that comes from the lead guy in that room. You got to emphasize that. That's got to be an everyday deal. So looks like that they want to be able to cut down on the turnovers and also be able to be more efficient on offense. Then to build off of that, one of the biggest things is he talked about Kellen Moore, and he said the following: I've been where Kellen has been. Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense. I think when you're a coordinator, you know you're in charge of the offense. Being a head coach and being a play caller, you're a little bit more in tune with everything. I don't desire to be the number one offense in the league. I want to be the number one team in the league with a number of wins and a championship. If we got to give up some production and take care of the ball better to get that, then that's what we'll do, because we have a really good defense. Now, with that being said, some people will take that and say, hey, what the hell? This is ridiculous. You're saying you don't want to run up the scoreboard and all this other stuff. Now, I want people to relax in what he's saying here, because I kind of get a gist of what he's going at. And the final two things that I want to go over is that he did say that 30 to 35% of the offense will change, but most of the language and terminology will remain the same. And he said the next step with this offense is to build the complementary style of football that balances the run pass even better than we did in 2022. And then he did say one last thing on how the offense is going to look different with him calling the plays. He said, I don't know. I guess we'll see. And I kind of look at all these because that's a lot. I mean, a lot of information. And so with that being said, I don't know what kind of offense we're going to get. I think that this could end up being something where it's his early time in Green Bay, and, you know, we're finally going to get a McCarthy imprint on this. And I did talk about when Dak Prescott mentioned it a couple of days ago, where he said that the offense was going to be 20 to 30% different. Now, again, that's a decent chunk, But again, I need to see it in order for me to believe it. Now, when it comes to what he said about running the ball, I think he wants to run the ball more efficiently. That's kind of the indications of what he's getting at from what I've been told and what the media members are saying and all that other stuff. And for me, all I'm going to say is that running the football more does not equate to you having an overall more efficient offense. And one of the biggest things that came down to it was that when Mike McCarthy's saying that he wants to run the ball better and limit turnovers, I mean, that's a given, of course. But I think that I do agree with the sentiment. You know, it's cool to have these top numbers, but if we're not winning, then what does it mean? You see, and I think that he's not insinuating that, hey, I don't want to have a number one offense. I think that he's just like, look, I just want to win games, and that's all I give a shit about, which I admire that he's honest with that. And I think that's the thing, is I think situationally the Dallas Cowboys have shown this up and down nature that screwed him over in some of these games, and I think that Mike McCarthy wants to fix that. Now, we'll see if that happens, but again, one of the biggest things is that when you're making these types of changes and you're trying to build on what you did in years past, with you know, being in Green Bay and calling the plays, we don't know where Mike McCarthy is. But to me, if you are going to build this thing how you want it to be done, and we're getting a different type of look on what's changing, there's that. But what scares me is that, and I tell people this all the time, you running the football more doesn't equal anything. So there was a stat that came out that the Dallas Cowboys, if they pass the ball on first down or in early down situations, they convert the downage and distance, like they're the second best converting team when they do that, but when they run the ball, they're 22nd. So if the Dallas Cowboys want to go down the route of running the football more efficiently, you want to do outside zone runs. That's something that we haven't really done in a really long time here in Dallas, and that's what I'm hoping with Brian Schottenheimer and him designing the plays and Mike McCarthy being able to call them. That's something that we're going to be able to have, but I think you need to have a more efficient run game through your running backs being, healthy and having juice to them. Zeke, I don't think is that anymore, even though I think Zeke can be decent for what you're asking. And then if Tony Pollard's healthy, you know what you're going to get, but, I mean, you could probably get something cheaper there, just being real. Now, in terms of what he's ultimately trying to go for, he's trying to build the offense around Dak Prescott, which if you are someone that's skeptical of Dak Prescott, that's something you want to do. You want to be able to tailor the offense to your quarterback with what he can do running the football, with what he can do in the passing game, and making it easier for him, because you taking away weapons, and I'm looking at the front office now, just by the way, you taking away weapons and having your coaching staff try to work with that, and also have to deal with the fact that then you have some of your coaches doing stupid shit like a lot of curl routes and freaking option routes, which post, I just can't believe that we did it so damn much. This post-snap option route stuff was what killed the Cowboys in plenty of these situations, so I'm hoping that's going to change. And I think it's going to, because Mike McCarthy voiced his frustration with it. But with that being said, with where we stand right now, guys, the Dallas Cowboys have made it abundantly clear with Mike McCarthy and what he's saying. This offense won't have any different terminology. It's going to be built around Dak Prescott. They're going to look to be more efficient, and that's just where we stand. And I don't know how you guys feel on it. I'm a bit of the just show me and let's go from there, because Mike McCarthy has shown me a lot of what he can do, with this football program. We've gone 12-5 in back-to-back seasons. We'll see if they can do it again, or maybe they can get into the dance, and we'll see how things go. But right now, Mike McCarthy, you have to prove to me on the offensive side of the ball that you can do it. And right now, with what I've seen, I'm going to trust you a little bit, Mike, but I'm still withholding my skepticism, or I'm putting out skepticism, I should say, and withholding any form of full-on optimism, because I need to see how this offense is being built through personnel. And if that doesn't change, I'm going to just be there and like, listen, this team's cooked already and we're not doing anything next year. But that's where we stand now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, once again, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is Space Cowboy Media signing out. Have a good one.